What if the architecture of Washington, D.C.'s National Mall echoes the ideas that began over 5,000 years ago in the Neolithic world? Today we're exploring how some of the most famous monuments in the United States draw inspiration from architectural traditions that began thousands of years before modern civilization. The National Mall is a symbolic center of American democracy, but its design follows a much older architectural tradition, one based on monumental stone, axial planning, and ceremonial landscapes. These ideas first appeared in the Neolithic period, when humans began building permanent settlements and monumental architecture. Take the Washington Monument. This towering obelisk is inspired by ancient Egyptian architecture. While Egypt's famous obelisks came later, the impulse to build massive vertical monuments began much earlier in the Neolithic cultures that erected standing stones and ceremonial pillars. Monuments like those at sites such as Göbekli Tepe or Stone Age megaliths in Europe were among the first examples of humans shaping stone to mark sacred or social space. The Lincoln Memorial looks like a classical Greek temple. Greek temples themselves evolved from much older buildings of sacred architecture. Spaces designed to frame ritual gatherings and connect communities with their shared beliefs. In the Neolithic world, large communal buildings often served similar purpose: ritual, ceremony, and social cohesion. Even the Capitol building reflects this long architectural lineage. Monumental structures arranged along a ceremonial axis. The Capitol, the Washington Monument, and the Lincoln Memorial create a planned landscape meant to convey power, identity, and collective memory. This kind of ceremonial spatial planning has roots stretching back to early agricultural societies. Of course, the National Mall isn't Neolithic. It's a modern civic landscape designed in the 18th and 19th centuries. But the human instinct to build monumental spaces together, remember and symbolize shared ideals, begins thousands of years earlier. In that sense, the mall continues a tradition that started when the first farming communities built their earliest monuments in stone. From Neolithic ritual spaces to modern democratic monuments, architecture has always been about more than buildings. It's about the stories societies choose to carve into the landscape. And on the National Mall, those stories stretch further back in time than you might think. History leaves traces everywhere, even in the monuments we pass every day.